In this video, we will learn about prompt hierarchies, or systematic ways to implement prompts to increase student independence while learning new skills. A prompt hierarchy is a systematic method of assisting students to learn new skills and to help them use new skills in the natural environment. This can provide a framework that allows you to communicate your students' level of independence while they are learning a new skill. Prompt hierarchies are broken into two different domains. There is the most to least level and the least to most level of prompting. In the most to least approach, this is when prompts are given at the highest level first and then faded as students begin to master a skill. Most to least prompting is most appropriate when you are doing direct instruction. So things such as using discrete trial training, training instruction, and implementing a task analysis instructional approach. In least to most prompting, this is when prompts are systematically given starting with a lower level of prompting and increased as a student needs the specific prompt. This is best implemented during incidental teaching or when you are teaching in the natural environment. This is so that students are not given more prompts or more intense prompts than are needed. Here is an example of the most to least prompting sequence. It begins with full physical assistance and slowly fades down until a student is fully independent. The least to most approach is simply the reverse of this. In the next few slides, we'll go over what each of these levels means and what they look like in the classroom. We'll first start with independent. When a student is independent, they are able to perform a task with no prompts at all. Next, we have natural environment prompts. These are cues that occur naturally in the environment, things such as alarm clocks, school bells, or natural environment reactions. For example, if you're cold, you put on a coat. With today's advances in technology and the access to smartphones and tablets, it's very easy to set up natural environment cues through scheduled reminders or alarms. As we increase our prompts, we next move to gestural or visual cues. This is pointing or using some sort of visual reminder, such as picture directions or picture supports, to provide support for a student. Next, we move to an indirect verbal cue. And this is an indirect statement that redirects the student and refocuses them to the task at hand. An example of an indirect verbal prompt would be something such as "what comes next" or "look here," which does not provide the student with specific information on what is to be completed. Next is a direct verbal prompt, and this is the direct statement of what a student should be doing. An example of this is an SD in a discrete trial, or a specific direction such as "put this here" or "come here." Direct verbal prompts are very difficult to fade, and you can see where these fall in the progression of prompt hierarchy. It's important to be very mindful about your direct verbal prompts. The next level is modeling. This is when a student is shown what to do. It's important that modeling, you do this without physically touching the student. You simply provide a model or demonstration. Next, we get to our more restrictive prompting, which is light physical and full physical. In a light physical prompt, minimal physical contact is provided to a student. This could be This could be guiding a student's hand towards a specific piece of material that's used in a teaching trial, or it could be an elbow guidance towards what needs to be done. Finally, the most intensive and restrictive level of prompting is a full physical prompt. And this is hand-over-hand assistance to complete a specific task or a specific step in a task. Understanding prompt hierarchies is crucial to teaching students with autism spectrum disorder. By understanding prompt hierarchies and monitoring the level of prompts that are needed, we can help support a student as they move towards greater independence. You want to make sure that you communicate a student's prompting level that is needed with classroom staff. That way, we're providing the right level of support that is needed without increasing student dependence on adult staff members. In your resource section, you can find a handy printout that has the visuals that were featured in this presentation. I recommend that you train your staff on these levels of prompts and hang up the associated handout in your class to provide a visual reminder for your staff about mindful prompting.